creatures endured, sometimes evolving down wildly different paths. We quickly discovered people, however, calling themselves Me-Anaka, who are highly intelligent social folk with large eyes, fur, and expressive tails. In my ignorance and excitement, I promptly dubbed them Lemurians, based on their strong, if more feline resemblance to the giant lemurs of Madagascar. Growing evidence may confirm they sprang from a parallel line, with only the most distant ancestor connecting them to lemurs, but Lemurians has stuck. We just as swiftly learned they were engaged in an existential struggle with a somewhat reptilian species commonly called Grik. Also bipedal, Grik display bristly crests and tail plumage, dreadful teeth and claws, and are clearly descended from the dromaeosaurids in our fossil record. Aiding the first group against the second, Captain Reddy had no choice. We made fast true friends who needed our technical expertise as badly as we needed their support. Conversely, we now also had an implacable enemy bent on devouring all competing life. Many bloody battles ensued, while we struggled to help our friends against their far more numerous foes. And it was for this reason I sometimes think, when disposed to contemplate destiny, that we survived all our previous ordeals and somehow came to this place. I don't know everything about anything, but I do know a little about a lot. The same was true of Captain Reddy and his US Asiatic Fleet sailors. We immediately commenced trying to even the odds, but militarizing the generally peaceful Lemurians was no simple task. Still, to paraphrase, the prospect of being eaten does focus one's efforts amazingly, and dire necessity is the mother of industrialization. To this day, I remain amazed by what we accomplished so quickly with so little, especially considering how rapidly and tragically our brain trust was consumed by battle. In the meantime, we discovered other humans, friends and enemies, who joined our cause, required our aid, and posed new threats. Even worse than the Grik, from a moral perspective in my opinion, was the vile Dominion in South and Central America. A perverse mix of Incan/Aztecan blood ritual tyranny with a dash of 17th century Catholicism flavouring technology brought by earlier travellers, the Dominion's aims were similar to those of the Grik. Conquest, of course, but founded on the principle of convert or die. I now believe that, faced with only one of these enemies, we could have prevailed rather quickly, despite the odds. Burdened by both, we could never concentrate our forces and the war lingered on. To make matters worse, the Grik were aided by the madman Kurokawa, who after losing his Amagi at the Battle of Bokpon, pursued a warped agenda all his own. And just as we came to the monumental conclusion that not all historical human timelines we encountered exactly mirrored ours, we began to feel the malevolent presence of yet another power centered in the Mediterranean. This League of Tripoli was composed of fascist French, Italian, Spanish, and German factions from a different 1939 than we remembered, and hadn't merely crossed over with a pair of battle-damaged destroyers, but possessed a powerful task force originally intended to wrest Egypt and the Suez Canal from Great Britain. We had few open conflicts with the League at first, though they seemed inexplicably intent on subversion. Eventually we discovered their ultimate aim was to aid Kurokawa, the Grik, even the Dominion, just enough to ensure our mutual annihilation, removing multiple future threats to the hegemony they craved at once. But their schemes never reckoned on the valour of our allies or the resolve of Captain Matthew Reddy. Therefore, when the League Contra-Amiral Laborde, humiliated by a confrontation, not only sank what was essentially a hospital ship with his monstrous dreadnought Savoy, but took some of our people hostage, including Captain Reddy's pregnant wife.